now we have the last session of the first block. It's going to be a panel, and we will have several ecosystem builders discussing how to use Chain Fusion for unifying Web3 experience. I think people are still getting ready, so we can start in a few seconds. Please come on stage. Over to you guys.
My name is Dominic Woerner. I'm a solutions architect at the DFINITY Foundation, so the foundation behind the Internet Computer. I'm mostly working with all those amazing ecosystem teams that are building on top of the Internet Computer, using the Chain Fusion technology to unify the Web3 ecosystem. And I'm super excited to have a couple of those here today and discuss with them the state of the art of Web3 and how each of them can have a part in unifying the Web3 ecosystem. So I want to give you everyone time to introduce yourself quickly.
Hi everyone, thanks for coming. My name is Wasim, co-founder and CEO of Chainsight. Nice meeting you all. I think I'll do the quick intro. Chainsight, which we're basically doing on-chain, off-chain data hub and aggregation, which we use time series data, which means all the dapps are actually using us to build oracles.
Hello. Yeah, hi everyone. Thanks for being here. Nice to see you all. I'm Alessandro. I'm one of the co-founders of Bitfinity Network, which is a layer 2 EVM built on top of the IC. And it essentially serves, very briefly, a dual purpose. The first one is to allow the IC to be compatible with the Ethereum ecosystem. Essentially just a layer of compatibility with Solidity, allowing developers to use all of that tooling, including the wallets, and being able to deploy on a synchronous environment that operates on top of an asynchronous chain, essentially. There is also a very strong interoperability between native IC smart contracts and EVM Solidity smart contracts. And that kind of opens up the doors to a lot of interesting use cases, because you can essentially deploy a complex app in an asynchronous environment and also rely on DeFi tools that run in a synchronous environment on EVM. So that's essentially the first thing. Second one, which is perhaps a bit more exotic, is that we also serve as a sidechain for Bitcoin. And that's thanks to chain key technology, which allows us to essentially expose Bitcoin and Taproot assets onto the EVM to Solidity developers. Thanks.
Hello everyone, my name is Ihor, and we built on-chain oracles, and we utilize ICP power for creating fully permissionless and fully customizable oracle solution. So we can deliver not only price feeds, but we have an unique selling point for data verification, on-chain data verification, different modules, modular approaches for pull oracle solution, push oracle solution, and so on.
Hi, hello, Louis from Omnity. Our team has been focused on blockchain interoperability since 2019, we built quite a lot interoperability component bridges in various ecosystems. And last year we started to build on ICP, and gradually found this is let's say the tech stack that we have been seeking or dreaming for many years, and so we decided to settle down in ICP Eco and rebrand it from Omnity, Octopus Network to Omnity Network at the beginning of this year.
So thank you, everybody. So I'd like to start with framing or phrasing the problem that we are trying to solve. So what do you think? Well, what is the problem that we have in Web3 interoperability right now? Maybe, Louis, maybe you could start, because you I mean, you're trying to solve that problem actually since a long, long time, and I would like to get your feeling, like, where are we currently?
Yes, I think 5 years ago, most of the blockchain developer practitioner do not take interoperability seriously. Back at that time, most people think, oh, there are only two meaningful blockchain, Bitcoin and Ethereum, and all the others are trash. So why bother to build interoperability stack? But now the multichain network is a reality. So interoperability is an inevitable component for this blockchain landscape. And from the very beginning, I think if not the one chain take all or one chain rule them all will not happen. If it does, it will be so disappointed because we are a decentralized community. We have a different vision, different idea about how to do things. So I'm very happy to see the diversity only grow in blockchain space, but it makes interoperability, let's say, even harder. And so that is why I think ICP can play a big role, since it's a generic glue area for all this blockchain. It can adapt to different cryptography, different communication method, and even we feel that we're not only about fuse blockchain together, we fuse Web 2 and Web 3 together. But let's stick to the chain fusion term. But I feel that our narrative always ahead of the others for a few years. But I feel that we based on this great ICP stack, we can really make the whole multi-chain landscape very usable for user. I think chain fusion is somewhat overlapped with chain abstraction and even intent-oriented paradigm. But all the things means we provide great developer experience and user experience.
Anyone has something to add on, like, framing the problem we're trying to solve?
Yeah, I totally agree, because the whole industry is going to be cross-chain, and we have different solutions. But I think we need to have more decentralized different solutions when we have a power of permissionless, different execution, different, doesn't matter what the chain is. We have a lot of similar chains, like EVM compatible ones, but also it's nice to integrate another one, combine it all together, and solve one chain for one problem and another chain for another problem, and being able to communicate. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with your vision and what you guys have said. I think it's very interesting when you connect chains in different exciting ways, and especially if you can leverage the functionality that certain chains have over others. Like, for example, the IC's scalability and the TPS per second, which is very, very high. Even on the EVM, we've seen about 1,000 TPS, which is considerably much more powerful than the Ethereum mainnet. I think right now, the biggest problem that we're facing is all of these hacks of bridging technologies that are being deployed out there in very unsafe ways. And it's very hard to find a bridging technology that is fully decentralized, that doesn't rely on some people having a multi-sig somewhere sitting around their house and can be easily stolen in some way or another. So having this chain fusion and the technology that like really allows decentralized sharding of keys and access to assets across chains in a secure manner is probably the most fundamental building block of cross-chain interaction. So I think really like the industry has been held back because of this this lack of security and all the hacks that have been going on. But there is a high utility in actually having a solution that works properly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So did you want to add or?
Yeah, just a quick addition. I think when it comes to chain fusion, that's all what we're discussing about, and I totally agree on it. I think it's more additional to that. It's more of how we communicate easily towards the mass. We want the mass, right? We want the users. We're all complaining about there's no mass adoption, there's no user experience, of course, because we're also not only the techie guys, but we also want to have people to understand easily. So that's probably one of the kind of key solution that we need to provide utilizing IC as well as each of our projects.
Cool, thank you. So we talked a lot about like moving assets and moving liquidity around, and I think, yeah, this is like the most important information that is moved around in the Web3 ecosystem, but it's definitely not the only type of information. So there's also the need to have like other information flows between chains, and I'd like to know a bit more about like how does Chainsight use chain fusion technology to move data and information around the Web3 ecosystem?
Yes, regarding to Chainsight, when it comes to utilizing chain fusion, we use IC technology in terms of integrating with EVMs, non-EVMs, and Bitcoin. And that's where we actually get a lot of dapps using us right now. And I think that's the most kind of, again, going back to the previous question, chain fusion. There's so many chains, the new L1s, new L2s coming out. And as a user, as a dapps founders, they're not really knowing which one to use as well, right? They're going always on the narratives. Therefore, as Chainsight, what we're trying to kind of solve is that it doesn't really matter which chains you're using it. With IC, with using threshold signature, as well as ECDSA, we're able to kind of move anywhere we want to.
And Lewis mentioned it already in his first part, that it's not only about unifying Web3, but it's also like integrating the bigger web ecosystem in all of this. And Ihor, can you share a bit of your experience in doing that?
Yeah, sure. So I think the main thing about ICP that we built, as we, for example, build like fully decentralized oracles, so as a service, so we don't have any centralized services at all, because we can build it fully on chain for ICP, and that's why actually we built it on ICP, because it just is not possible to build it on other chain at all. So yeah, and every time when we are talking about digitalization, it's about compromise between centralization and decentralization. And a lot of different products like cross-chain messaging or Oracle solution and other ones, they making a compromises in the meaning of make like network validator. It's AK decentralized, but it must look like multi-sig because it's trusted validator who running it for one exact like reason to provide, for example, data or provide like cross-chain messaging thing. But I like in the ICP way, I like that it's a common, it's multitasking thing. So it's not about concrete problem resolving. This network validator could be utilized in totally different way as you can build it by yourself and utilize it in totally different ways. And that's why I like it, like the network validator for building any type of decentralized execution. So it's like decentralized execution environment, and yeah, it's cool.
Awesome, thank you. So, I mean, the whole Web3 ecosystem or crypto ecosystem started with Bitcoin. right? But for a long time, Bitcoin was a bit of segregated. I mean, it's been there on top of CoinMarketCap, but otherwise it hasn't been really integrated into the bigger Web3 ecosystem. And I know we have Alessandro and Luis here who are really like working hard on moving Bitcoin into the Web3 ecosystem. And want to get a bit about your thoughts on, so why do you focus on Bitcoin and why do you focus on it right now?
Yeah, I mean, that's a very good question. I think Bitcoin, of course, it's first chain. It has most of the liquidity in the Web3 space. And it doesn't, unfortunately, have a very strong computational environment for developers to work on. So one of the key things that we tried to do at Bitfinity was to give Bitcoin developers, or anybody who would like to port DeFi from Ethereum onto Bitcoin, an ability to do so and access a fast computational environment with cheap transaction fees. Without any centralized components, in a way that was safe. And what we've seen so far is that there isn't a solution, a silver bullet for this. There's a lot of layer 2s that have popped up in the recent times, and they all have centralized components. If you go and read the white papers, usually you'll notice that they have some form or another of centralized components. So even if they advertise as truly decentralized, there's still a very large risk factor. And right now, as institutions are coming in, thanks to the Bitcoin ETF, we have to make sure that even Web3 remains in the game and has solutions that can actually be trusted by industry to host potentially even billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin moving around these chains. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's actually it's a quite controversial topic. Some developers, some Bitcoin ecosystem participants was excited about this Bitcoin renaissance. So builder come back to Bitcoin. I'm glad I'm one of them since my crypto journey began from Bitcoin. But for a long time, Bitcoin is so, let's say, boring. We cannot do anything new on it. But there's still Bitcoin Maxi. They say they don't like all the MITA protocols. They think they are the rubbish and spam the network. But I think there is two pillars for this to carry this movement. One is reuse the mindshare of Bitcoin, and since it's the first blockchain, it has the widest recognized concept. So once you announce, oh, it's a Bitcoin token on Bitcoin, so people will realize, oh, so all the benefit, all the merit of Bitcoin come along with it. You don't need to re-educate the end user about, oh, this is a new blockchain, it's with whatever the merits. So the mindshare reuse is one thing. And the other is, I take the point from Casey Rodamo. I think that Bitcoin is about digital ownership, and he believes that Bitcoin is the only blockchain that can resist attack from, let's say, nation state. So it has the best decentralization level, the best anti-fragileness. So when we issue an asset, why not choose the best, the most solid blockchain? So I think this is the other pillar of this movement.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, in the end, also Bitcoiners, they also use centralized exchanges and other centralized infrastructure that are single points of failure, right? So I think there's a big chance on providing the same user experience and usability in decentralized exchanges, but have the security that a blockchain provides, right?
Yes, so the so-called Bitcoin layer 2, they try to inherit security from Bitcoin. Even if I don't think there is a practical way to do that in near future, but in our opinion, Bitcoin will be Bitcoin network will be stable, and if we can build a let's say a very stable interoperability stack, the execution chain can come and go. So even if some of them failed, so people can still fall back to the settlement layer. So everything will go on. That is why we think chain fusion and the interoperability stack to help to connect Bitcoin layer 1 and layer 2 is the centerpiece of this initiative.
Cool. So I'd like to switch gears a little bit. So one of my roles at the foundation is also to be part of the developer grants program, and I have this list of requests for startups where we have a couple of ideas that we think startups can really use to build successful businesses using chain fusion technology. But I mean, you all are working on very cool projects that are leveraging the tech right now. But I assume, in your ear, there are also other cool ideas that you would like to explore if you had the chance. So could you share a bit, if you wouldn't do what you do right now, what other ideas would you follow? Want to start, Wasim?
Yeah, I mean, that question would be something difficult to answer, but I think I would still stick into infrastructure projects if I wasn't building Chainsight itself.
Well, why is that? Why the focus on infrastructure?
I think you need the base to build a building, streets, everything on top of it. With the current, even with layer 1, layer 2s, I still don't feel like it's the base of blockchain yet. It's still developing. So we're still not there yet. So building infrastructure is always fun. There's always, of course, liquidity, the money, everything on top of it that flows. So I would still stick with infrastructure. I would love to see all the DeFi projects coming in, as well as on the other side, socialfies, something gaming, just bringing in the mass. But you still have that infrastructure, right?
I mean, walking around at ethCC and also the side events, it seems like that's the common sense. So a lot of people are seeing it the same way and are building infrastructure. Alessandro, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think, I would focus on infrastructure, and yeah, there could be interesting use cases in SocialFi, perhaps, with games. With the environment that the IC and the Bitfinity VM give, it's there's a lot of things that can be done because you're basically combining an asynchronous environment with a synchronous environment. So you can try out different things. Maybe you have your tokens in one place, you have your game logic in some other place. So I think really the sky is the limit. And now one thing that we're working on is an open source bridging technology for runes and ordinals, which is actually based on Chainkey. So maybe that's something to explore as soon as there's a new trend in the Bitcoin ecosystem that comes up. There's some team that could pick that up and experiment with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I love the idea to simplify Web3 user experience in general from user perspective, and we have a power to do it with digitalized Web2 logins, for example, to make it super obvious and super easy to use as for Web2 users, maybe under the hood and RAM solution, Web2 logins with gasless execution and something like that. And it should be like combined and super very easy way to utilize it by users, and it could really increase like an adoption itself, and in general, like actually, like for regular user, MetaMask, for example, just regular MetaMask wallet, it's super complicated for like usual person, not a crypto one. So I think it's a brilliant idea to make a simplification for user experience.
So like, what are your ideas there? Like, how can we improve the user experience there?
How we can improve what?
The user experience, as you mentioned. Like, how can we do that?
Yeah, as I mentioned, that we can utilize Web2 logins through different social networks, and actually on ICP we can build it fully on-chain and fully in permissionless way, because we have some project on the market, but mostly they utilize some centralized, like one Poland failure solution for that. But on ICP with Kenny's service, HTTP out calls, we can build like this verification fully on-chain, and you don't need to trust middleman for this kind of logins, but also gasless execution. You can utilize, of course, new things about smart accounts, account abstraction thing, or also you can utilize an ACP for finalizing transaction instead of user, like on behalf of some like payer for that. So yeah, something like that.
Luis?
We are infrastructure protocol, but since the Chain Fusion tech stack have resolved the basic problem, it let us spare out a lot of resource to look the application layer, and we have decided to move into the meme coin direction. I have been thinking a lot during the past few months. Meme coin it's very big. We issue a hope you get rich meme, and it's quite active. And we're a little bit shocking how people willing to engage with meme coin. And I think some people have realized that meme coin could be a generic go-to-market strategy, which means every protocol, every project, in the future, every song, every movie, every art piece, every consumer branding will have one or multiple meme coin. So it could be a huge market. And I don't think there will be better meme platform than ICP, since we have a reverse gas model. We build the Telegram bot, so it's let's say zero friction user experience to people engage with the ICP and be the meme coin holder, trading, swapping, all without leaving their native Bitcoin, Web2 environment, and the user experience could be streamlined. So we decided we will jump into this space and build some middleware. Hopefully we can bring or replicate meme coin mania from Solana to ICP in the future.
Okay, so the big thing in web was every business got its own website, and then we thought in Web3, every company will get its token, and probably it's like every company will get its meme coin.
What would you be doing?
What I would be doing, that's a super interesting question. So one thing I'd be I don't unfortunately have the time to do a lot of projects, right? I'm also like working a lot with different projects. One thing that is in the list of requests for startups that I find extremely interesting is this idea of essentially creating a index fund on ICP. So you can interact with all the chains, so CoinMarket, CapList, Top, I don't know. You can integrate all those chains or all those tokens, or orchestrate all those tokens on ICP. So creating an index fund or even like user-created token baskets and manage that. I think this is like a very interesting idea that I would follow if I wouldn't have so many projects to take care of. All right, I think that's it. Thanks a lot to the panel. It was very interesting discussion. And I hope that next year we will talk even more about applications and not only about the infrastructure. Also, I'm also very much excited about all the infrastructure. So, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.